Welcome to Tennessee Court Talk. I'm Samantha Fisher, Communications Director for the Administrative Office of the Courts, and I have the honor of being your host for this episode, which is a little what you might call off script. Once in a while, we like to go behind the scenes of the judiciary. Maybe beyond the bench is a better way to say it. But the idea here is the men and women who wear the black robe, who oftentimes seem very intimidating, well, they're people too. And we like to take the opportunity to get to know them, and for you, our audience, to get to know them better too. So, as we consider this season, Thanksgiving, we have gathered several of the justices of the Supreme Court to talk about what this time of year means to them, the traditions and stories from their families and their hometowns. So we welcome Chief Justice Holly Kirby, Justice Mary Wagner, Justice Sarah Campbell, and Justice Dwight Tarwater. And Justice Tarwater, I thought I might start with you. We'll start on the east side of the state and then work our way west. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Samantha. Glad to join you.
So tell us a little bit about, growing up in East Tennessee. What kinds of things did you enjoy this time of year? What kind of influenced you growing up?
Samantha, thanks for helping me remember some of those fond days. I grew up in Knoxville. My father was a World War II veteran, and he and my mother had a house in the suburbs, but he still owned the family farm when I was a child. And for my dad, Thanksgiving meant the opening day of hunting season. And while I don't hunt anymore, I went with him as much as I could as a child. And Thanksgiving was always a traditional day for that. And we would go to the family farm, and we would be together as a father and a son. And he taught me how to shoot a gun and how to enjoy the outdoors and to enjoy the heritage. That farm was the farm where the first Tarwater who came to this country settled in the late 1700s. So it's in Knox County. I will remember Thanksgiving because I will remember my dad and the time that we spent. And I liked it because we would hunt on Thursday, and then we would eat pretty much the rest of the day. And then we'd hunt again on Friday, and then we'd go to the University of Tennessee football game. Usually it was Kentucky Thanksgiving weekend, and that was Thanksgiving weekend for the child, Dwight Tarwater.
That sounds wonderful. And we've noticed just from live streaming, Supreme Court arguments that some of those farm analogies have worked their way into questions that you have and really help people understand the case.
I hope they helped people understand the case. Perhaps it helped me understand the case. Chief Justice Kirby often asks me if I'll have a cow question during the argument today.
Usually the answer is yes. Give us an example. That's a cow question.
A cow question.
I know I've heard you say you can't put the cow back in the barn.
Yeah,
Once or twice.
Yeah, that's true. Once the cow's out, she's hard to get back in the barn.
Excellent. All right. Well, moving west of it, Justice Campbell, well, you're from East Tennessee, from Rogersville, but I know you represent Middle Tennessee, so maybe you can give us something of both now.
Sure. I did grow up mostly in East Tennessee and, have such great memories of Thanksgiving. Most of our Thanksgivings when I was a kid were spent with my mom's side of the family. She's one of 7 kids, and it's a very large family, tons of cousins around my age. And actually, most of our Thanksgiving were spent not in Tennessee, but in Ohio. A number of my mom's siblings lived in northern Kentucky and Ohio, and so we would usually gather at my Aunt Elsie's farm in Wilmington, Ohio, which was loads of fun. So we would, get in the car and travel up there for Thanksgiving. My mom and her sisters and my mama, my mom's mom, were just exceptional cooks. My mom's still a wonderful cook. I wish I had inherited some of that ability, but you can ask my kids. I did not. So we would go there with a whole crew, all my cousins, my aunts and uncles. And my grandmother, when she was living, would join us there as well, and just eat all day. We'd play football, we'd play lots of games with the cousins, and we would, often end up either walking around the farm, or all the kids would pile in a wagon, and the tractor would pull us around, and it was just such fun. I have so many good memories from those days, and we haven't been able to do that with extended family for a long time. But now we have our own traditions. So this year we'll be heading back to Rogersville, and my boys are very much looking forward to playing football in the yard with their cousins. It's been funny moving to Nashville. As you know, Samantha, living in Nashville, I think that's people kind of rush to put up their Christmas decorations. I think it's because a lot of people have their Christmas decorations put up for them, and you have to get on a pretty long list to do that. And so the Christmas decorations in Nashville go up really early, which is my husband and I just are not happy about. We are huge Thanksgiving fans. It's my favorite holiday. It's my husband's favorite holiday. And we have a very bright line rule that we do not put up our Christmas decorations until after Thanksgiving. I recently purchased an inflatable turkey that will be as a form of protest, really, to all of the early Christmas decorations. So that will be donning our yard shortly after Halloween.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the Christmas decorations are coming out even before Halloween now.
I have noticed that too. It's shocking.
It's an aggressive push. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't wait to see the blow-up turkey. It's going to be good.
It's going to be great. It's the first. I think this is year one. We'll add a Thanksgiving decoration annually, is my hope.
Excellent. Good. More inflatables.
Maybe a cow.
Maybe a cow, in honor of Justice Tarwater.
Now, Justice Tarwater, you told me you dressed up as a turkey once.
I thought you were going to give me the attorney-client on
I'm not.
that story. In the 8th grade, I played the role of the turkey in the Thanksgiving play, and it earned me a nickname, Turkey, or some of my old friends still call me Turk at my high school reunion, and that all dated back to, I guess, Thanksgiving in 1968. So there you go.
It was a memorable performance.
Yeah, I was typecast.
Oh. Chief Justice Kirby, any turkey costumes in your past?
I have no turkeys lurking in my past. Unfortunately, that would be a very colorful memory. And I didn't get any nicknames from costumes or anything like that, so I can't cop to that.
Now, I know you were born in Memphis, but you graduated from high school in Columbia, Tennessee. So were you moving back and forth? What was that about?
No, my family, I grew up in Memphis till I was about 15, and then my family moved to Columbia, Tennessee, and so I graduated from high school there, and I claim both Memphis and Columbia as my hometown. And when I've been to high school reunions, I've often attended both. The high school I would have graduated from had we stayed in Memphis, and then also Columbia Central High.
Any stories or traditions that influenced you growing up?
Well, I'm definitely in Justice Campbell's camp. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It is sacrilege to put up Christmas decorations early. I really believe in honoring Thanksgiving, and it's the one holiday where you gather around the people you love. Is there anything better than that? That's such a wonderful American tradition, and it is my all-time favorite holiday. So growing up, I wish I would have loved to have come from a big family with a lot of cousins like Justice Campbell did. But most of our Thanksgivings were my mom and me cooking Thanksgiving dinner while my brothers looked up exotic insults in the dictionary that they could hurl at each other and came up with most bizarre games instead of doing anything constructive. And my mother and I, neither one of us were good cooks at all. So it was looking back, I had no idea. I thought it was fabulous. And I would, in school in Columbia, I attended a home ec class and came away with recipes that involved. There was one recipe. It's very sad looking back on it, but it was a recipe that involved like canned fruit and mini marshmallows and sour cream, and it was terrible. But my mother said, "Oh, Holly, make your fruit salad." But Thanksgiving food, traditional Thanksgiving food is my all-time favorite. I love turkey and dressing and all of the things associated with Thanksgiving, and just the whole tradition of looking back on the year and thinking of all the blessings that you've had in the course of the year, sometimes losses too, um, but usually those losses come from things that you have loved. And so all of that goes into a rich and beautiful life. And Thanksgiving is a time to reflect on that.
Yeah, it really is an important time to take stock and reflect and even think ahead too before everything kicks into high gear with Christmas and holidays and all the things that go along with that. I love what you said about the fruit salad. I think there are so many stories to be told about recipes gone wrong. And just a couple of years ago at our house, we of course were doubling the sweet potato recipe, but we didn't double the cook time. And so what we ended up with was like this soupy thing, and it was like everyone's favorite dish. And, it was hard to recover from that. But now that's part of our story that we tell every year.
That's great.
Justice Wagner, you grew up in the Memphis area. Tell us about your family life.
I mean, there's a recipe for, my boys call it pink salad. So our Thanksgiving tradition growing up was everybody would come to our house, and it would be 30 or 40 people, and it was amazing because we always ate lunch, which my husband has had to adjust to, instead of dinner. But that way we could eat a big meal and hang out all afternoon, and then dinner was leftovers. And so it was a great day. My mom was responsible for all the food, and she has her famous pink salad, which growing up I thought was awful because it was whipped cream and cherry pie filling, but she called it salad. And my boys think it's the best thing because it's frozen, and so they think they're eating ice cream for lunch.
Trick.
And so we still, even though Thanksgiving has now shifted to my house every year, we still have pink salad made by Grandma. And that is one of our favorite traditions. And we added a few years ago an inflatable turkey too. I think it was our COVID relief because we didn't have our 30 people together for Thanksgiving, so we had to add some fun with the inflatable turkey.
That's good. Well, this has been wonderful. I love hearing all these stories of growing up in Tennessee. I'm not from Tennessee myself. We would always go to Pennsylvania, for our Thanksgiving traditions. But and of course, it changes over the years, and you pass some of it along to your kids, and it certainly is a wonderful time of year to just take a breath and think about all the things that we're grateful for. Any parting thoughts before we wrap it up?
I'll just add just a quick favorite memory. We during COVID, Justice Wagner mentioned just how the holiday was so different. But for a couple of years, really. But in November 2020, so kind of during the height of the pandemic, we one tradition we have in our family, or that we've had for the past few years, is I cut out little paper leaves, and we call it a thankful tree, but we just kind of write things that we're thankful for on these leaves, and then we hang them on the tree. And that particular year, my husband had the good idea to take the thankful tree outside. And so we did something similar just on the at the end of our driveway so that folks walking by could kind of write something that they're thankful for and take some time to reflect. And that ended up being just such a warm memory for us. And it was really a moving thing to see what people wrote on those leaves during a pretty dark time for a lot of people, certainly for people who are living on their own or, who couldn't be with family that they would ordinarily gather with. But there was still so much to be thankful for. And just to Justice Kirby's point, I think even in seasons when, we're grieving or we have things that were hard, I think still Thanksgiving is a time to reflect on how much we have to be thankful for, and even in times of loss, that we can be thankful for the memories that we have.
And if I could just add one thing to that. Traditionally, it's interesting when being thankful is a virtue. And sometimes when you get a little older, you look with thanks on things a little differently for lifetime blessings. And they fall into sometimes a different category: relationships, family, careers, partners, children, grandchildren. And thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk about being thankful.
Thank you for serving the state and for taking some time to share your own heritage and the stories that have made you who you are. And it's lovely. Thank you so much.